Number one, if we are going to invite private-public partnerships, we need to bring part of the budget, the investment budget from the government. So there has to be some cost. In a world where there's fiscal austerity, prioritizing these types of projects becomes extremely important. So it's at the country's shoulder, if you will, to be very clear in terms of the priorities for the infrastructure that is going to bring in private-public partnerships. So this is number one. Number two, there's always a financing gap, and that gap has to be filled most enticingly by concessional finance. And here comes the very important aspect of bringing the public budget along with what you can fill in from different partners. We know that concessional finance is quite scarce, and that's where complementarity between different MDBs becomes very important locally when we are looking at a certain project that we want to push forward. So here comes, I described this because at the end it's country ownership. We would know the priority projects. We need to be very clear and transparent about these projects, and we need to show how much comes from the financing, public finance, and how much we can bring from MDBs to crowd in private sector investment. So this is a very important aspect. You talk to MDBs, they say that countries don't have the investment pipeline. So if we are able to prioritize this within the social and economic plan for the country, this would be very, very important to prioritize and crowd in private sector investments. Another important aspect as well is when you take a look at the representatives here, different countries from what is known as the Global South, but there's so much experience sharing, which is very important. And here comes the NDB's role when it comes to South-South cooperation and the ability to see what has worked and what can help others cut corners going forward. Climate finance and development are always today put hand in hand. We saw Madam Ngozi mention this, and it is part of what countries in their moving towards 2030, we cannot ignore both. And that's why in the case of Egypt, we put together our country platform, the Nexus of Water, Food and Energy, the NWAFI program. And the idea here is to be able to see projects which have developmental goals towards the SDGs, but at the same time, they have climate action at their heart. And therefore, we can leverage on some of the climate finance innovative tools, be it debt swaps for climate action, be it grants for project preparation, and also the ability of different MDBs to work together. So in conclusion, what I would like to add to everybody else is prioritization from the countryside, clarity with respect to the private-public partnership, and number three, complementarity between what comes from the budget and what comes from MDBs or bilateral cooperation so that we can actually bring down the cost as much as possible. Let me just say one word about BRICS, and I was telling this to colleagues in the board. The public opinion around BRICS is that our problems are going to be solved by collaboration between the countries in BRICS. Sure. And I think we need to live up to this by trying to operationalize this collaboration, be it in infrastructure, be it in investment, be it in different ways that we can do work together tangibly so that the public can see it. When I go to the New Development Bank, we have several projects of interest, and we hosted in June a seminar for the New Development Bank in Cairo to familiarize the private sector and stakeholders with the New Development Bank, the different instruments that it stands for, infrastructure, but greening as well. We had a very good visit to the Suez Canal Economic Zone with President Delma, and we also have in the Suez Canal Economic Zone a Chinese dedicated center with technology and firms, and one Russian is coming up as well. So when we talk about NDB and Egypt, we're thinking about ports, connectivity, Suez Canal Economic Zone, and many of the projects that have to do also with the transition. And one extra element is that with AIIB in Egypt and other MDBs working on such projects, there is going to be scope for collaboration between NDB and other development partners that work in Egypt. Thank you.